Hey, what's good, everyone? I just wanted to hit you all up with a quick word of encouragement dealing with friends. Now, the Bible says that evil company corrupts good habits. And I just want to kind of build on that a little bit because it's something I speak to people about all the time. And it's something that I've seen the effects of in my own personal life. Obviously, growing up the way I grew up, a lot of it had to do with my environment. You know, environment is everything. Your circles are everything. And like, you know, growing up, especially when you're young and you're so impressionable, like whatever your people are doing, that's what you want to do. Obviously, there are some exceptions. I understand that. But like the reality is 9 times out of 10, like you are going to reflect like who you're around on a day-to-day basis, right? Like the saying goes, show me your friends, I'll show you who you are. That's real. And for a lot of us are being held back in life because of the people we have around us. We're being crippled in regards to, you know, our own personal growth, our own personal development, our own personal successes because of the people who we keep around. You know what I mean? A lot of times it's not their fault. Some people just don't know. They don't know how to love you the way you're supposed to be loved. They don't know how to encourage you or push or motivate you. Some of them like are just like straight up like trying to like ruin you, and that's something that we have to accept. That's something that we have to come to terms with, the fact that, you know, there are people in our lives who don't want good for us, and you know the reality is we gotta identify, we gotta discern that, and we gotta cut them out ASAP, right? But some of them just don't know how to love you, and that is still not an excuse to keep them around. And that's why the Bible says do not be deceived, because a lot of us are deceived. A lot of us think that we can keep these people around us and everything's Gucci. Like a lot of us think that we can keep these people in our lives and we're still going to prosper, we're still going to be successful. Some of us are convinced that these people are not hurting us. Some of us are convinced that these people are doing more good than bad in our lives, and that's where like perspective and understanding and discernment comes into play. And I've been learning a lot about the value of being around people who are at or above where you want to be. People who like really like show you like, you know, this is what it is and this is what it's supposed to be. I like to say that the reason why excellence is not common is because excellence is not common. Like if you were always around excellence, it'll be easier. It's not guaranteed, but it'll be easier for you to become excellent because it's the norm in your world. If the norm in your world is corruption, then it's gonna be easier for you to be corrupted because that's just what you're around, that's what you know. There's some people who are living like some type of life, and that is the result of the fact that that's all they ever knew. Like when they're carrying on and they're just doing their thing and it's messed up, it's just because that's all that they ever known. And there's some people who are like sky high and they're just like doing their thing and they're prospering, and it's just like simply because that's like all that they know. Like everyone has their challenges, but like when your daddy and your daddy's daddy and your daddy's daddy was successful, then it's just like you already have the blueprint and all you got to do is choose to like follow suit. I've been trying to put myself in the environment, the company of people who are making power moves, and you know, people who are not settling for the status quo, people who are dreamers and people who are goal-getters. That's the type of people that you got to be around. That's the type of people that you got to pray that God will bring into your life. That's something that I've been praying for like years. Like, God, like put me around the squad, put me around like people who can, you know, help me to like go further in life. And that's what I want to encourage you to do. You know, pray that God will connect you with people who are just going to be able to take what He has put in you and actually bring it to life, and help you to execute it. But also on a side note, I just also want to encourage you to know when you're in company that requires you to help them to go to the next level, and know when you're in a situation where people are just trying to drag you down, because God will put people in your life who are not on your level in regards to your success, your finances, your spiritual walk, or whatever the case may be. And he's allowing that so that you can take them up, but also sometimes, like I said, you just got to understand if it's a situation like that, or if people are just trying to drag you down. And don't be afraid to separate yourself from the pack. Like, part of being great, if we're talking about greatness, or part of being like excelling in life, is the fact that you're willing to like take calculated risk and move in ways that people don't understand. And like, when people don't understand what God is trying to do to you, like they'll either discourage you or trying to hold you back. And the reality is, sometimes you got to separate yourself. Like, I mean, just separate yourself completely. God separated Abraham, you know, from his people before he laid out the blueprint. God separated Moses from the Egyptians and from Egypt altogether before he laid out the blueprint. And he does it all the time throughout history. He does it all the time. So don't be afraid of that. Yo, my people, listen, stay blessed, stay connected to the source, which is Jesus Christ. Stay plugged, because none of this, you won't even be able to identify, you know, the snakes and the serpents in your circle if you're not plugged in. So stay connected, stay plugged in, stay blessed. If you haven't, surrendered or given your life to Jesus Christ, I mean, now is the time. And like, I mean, it doesn't have to be an overnight thing, but it's something that I'm going to encourage you to move towards, because God will change your lives in ways that you couldn't even imagine. Like, God will open doors of like just peace and joy and understanding and wisdom that you never even knew were possible. You're fighting for these things anyway. You're fighting to be happy. You're fighting for joy, and you're going through the cycle of doing all these temporary things, these temporary fixes that, yeah, like they add like, you know, entertainment and excitement to your life, but at the end of the day, man, it's going to cost you way more than you can handle. So I'm going to encourage you to surrender your life to Jesus Christ and, you know, live the life that he has called you to live, for real, for real. So until next time, my people, bless.